Okay, there's a new channel set up today. I'm going to be of just a number. Again. What I found by founding a YouTube channel, somebody is very good at posting information with the UK state bloody system, which is this is what's not going to happen. So if anybody's going through this, is that I'm going to experience this. I'm going to, I don't normally do this. Oh, somebody just texted me, I'll know. That's as a matter of fact, what happens with one's illness, combination are very complex. My physical body, at the moment, if I ring at Ramos, I'll be in hospital today, in the general hospital, because of my heart. And the symptoms I have. And I know what's causing it. And there's the intention of the public servants. I'm talking about private company employees on behalf of DWP, not anybody else. In the United Kingdom. That video I saw when I was in bed, again all day, until now. I saw a very helpful website, and it's very hard to click all these things that relates to my situation. I'm very good at masking, pretending I'm okay when I'm not. In my daily life, unfortunate situation. I've had to learn when I've been denied services, you see, cutbacks and all this going on, you see. I do not like my friend trying to email at 4 a.m. this morning or a text to anyone. They're absolutely petrified for me. And they just want to pull out, but they know they can't, because they know how serious thousands of others like me are out there, and they're my friends, and they know they can't do anything more than they can, and it breaks their heart. If I call the out of hours social services for physical care, I'll be out of here today. An emergency place, I could be anywhere. That's how serious it is. But I can't do that on my friends, you see. They've rearranged their work patterns for the next 2 weeks to take in turns to stay over on the city, to watch over me. Knowing I could have another stroke any time, at any time in the day. They're constantly texting me, and they have to keep setting my alarm on my phone every hour to remind me. I never was like this before with the bloody DWP and the PIP system, and the way it's affecting thousands and others like me. I lost that letter of referral. I don't know, I had so many paperwork on me. When you survive, Excuse me. So much in one's life. My friends tried to call this crisis number early hours. You just got an answer machine, you know, because they're stretched to the limit themselves. So it was meditation time again. Absolutely talking to me, my friends. She had to get her other friend in. He's very good at, like, the techniques. I mean, I taught them all this years ago about meditation, and now I forget because of stress and the pain I'm in. But they help me to remember and put the music on. That's the only reason I was able to get to sleep at 5 a.m. By 11 a.m. I'm waking up, despite the medications I'm on. It's a psychological war as well for thousands of others in the United Kingdom like me. And good people out there, keep up your work, because without you I wouldn't know what I found out today. And I wouldn't have known how to set up another YouTube channel and email to bloody email these Capita Plc. It has to be later on tonight when another friend can do the email. I know certain terms, so I can set the offer or go into Coventry in the United Kingdom. What I'm about to do tomorrow is going to cause, unfortunately, a risk to me. They won't even read it, but I know it's on their computer systems because NHS England, have a contract with NHS Digital, and NHS Digital, how it all works now with medical data, is on the computer system technology-wise now anyway. So all of everyone's information now in the United Kingdom is on a computer system. And who runs the software company? Capita Plc. They have branched out and outsourcing. And when you check all this out, you find it all. And all doesn't really help us when we're going through this assessment. But you see, it doesn't matter. Even though you go to assessment, they will not find you fit. You know, they will not. There's a very good tweet. I can't remember the terminology, sorry. Is it Twitter? Yeah, Twitter. And there's a thing my mate's following. I'm not very good in technology, so bear with me. And there's a guy who actually explained that the equality duty is being breached. Not just to me, not just to him, thousands of people, disabled people, men and women, in all walks of life throughout the United Kingdom. That was evident to me from years of experiencing all this firsthand in other areas too in my life. It's not meant to be. There is a system of cleansing of vulnerable, disabled people and elderly who are so sick and ill, and it's costing the extra public funds onto the NHS and healthcare, social care, everything else I can't even go into because I'm not well. All of my glands, my dental health is swollen up with stress. My spine, the neck. If I don't get hoisted back to bed, I'm at risk of having another stroke again. It triggers off, you see, the symptoms I have, and these bloody pointless individuals are looking at their bonuses for Capita Plc. They're not healthcare professionals, they're just administrators in their job, in their capacity. So the pain and suffering we go through is all for nothing. in the eyes of a few. You might have a friend or a family member, but remember, there's others like me who do not have that situation. It all depends on the statute and the workloads of a social worker, if they can assist you in that kind of meeting. And it all depends if you can even find accessible transport. With my massive power electric wheelchair that's indoors and outdoor use, and I don't go nowhere. And how this website actually helped me actually is very good. I can't remember the name, sorry. But it helped me see, and that's what distresses me, is also the very deep questions I avoid. And that's part of my avoidance, my disability, to see, the trauma in my life. It's a hard video to make thing. I can't seem to do videos as well as I do streams. I don't know why. So bear with me. The hiddenness of disability for a lot of people feel they're suffering in silence, you know, and it's true. There is no compassion. I mean, there is a very good video. I was watching and I was trying to rest my spine and back and everything in bed. And I constantly, when I try and sit up in my wheelchair, I'm constantly spilling things. I can't even bloody hold a bloody drink in my hand anymore. I'm always the one individual that will try, you see. My brain thinking patterns always one that will like to try. And at least I do try, but I end up in a mess, dangerous situation. I've had 3 accidents already recently. It's nobody done anything to me. It's just my weakness in my body. I didn't expect it to get worse. And then months just passed and still carrying on. Psychologically, it's aggravated. Trauma, everything really. I hope to goodness. Unfortunately, I've got no choice. Well, I have a choice, but my psychological well-being, they call it that now. I need to get someone to see me ASAP. I might need a different kind of medication. Because they won't deal with physical health, my care needs. It's complex, you see. Say if you need a temporary respite in a mental health place, they don't cater for physical care, you see. So I could do with a respite. Wherever it could be. And I said this to a social worker Friday, just God. It's urgent. It's emergency basis. Because my friends can't cope. Severely. When I put a brave face on it, the 2 friends planned the route for me. You know, you find a way eventually, and the mind somehow does. I don't know how it does, but somewhere deep down, I find a way. It's like usually meditation music on. At the moment, it's spiritual music. I'm learning the scriptures again. I haven't done that for so long. But it has to be by audio, because I can't read it anymore the way I used to. I've lost all of my concentration. That's how physical health affects you that way, you see, and you just struggle to breathe and try to focus every bloody minute of the day, let alone anything else. So I try to think. My mum overcome so much about things herself, but the thing with my mum, my late mum, she had all these people around her, and because she's still part of a certain religion, she had all them people around her. I know we're all physical on this earth, only a short period of time. I know that deep down in my heart. So the pain and suffering my body is going through, and the psychological side of it too, is part of life's journey, and thousands others too, perhaps, may not be aware it, see it like that. I do not believe anymore that we're dealing with anyone with a decent heart in their body that works in these corporations for the public purse. I don't believe any kind of, I'm not political at all now, but I don't believe that anyone, the Conservatives, has any kind of decent heart in them, because they're all towing the party line. And this video I saw was a clear evidence of that. You had a really good Labour. I mean, she was so compassionate. And the disabled people gets cuts, hashtag. And I read the blog, this guy did. My friend read it to me, like, oh, how he picked up the reason why. Doesn't matter what evidence you send, and I've sent every damn bloody thing in, I'll tell you that now. And the thing I'm about to do tomorrow is going to lift the lid on every damn thing. I think it's right if I go public who I am. That's why I set up the new YouTube channel. It goes live tomorrow. And what I do, I don't care what people think about me anymore. You'll see what I used to be like, because I'll be showing some photographs of my former years of what I was like, my kids, the people I married, the people I met. It's not name dropping either. How I ended up getting run over, how I ended up getting ill, how the mental health came in, how the end of my life happened, how I've never been able to cope with it. So many years on still, I'm like that. How I've experienced firsthand corruption, how I've uncovered a lot of dark side of life, how I pulled through a lot of things, but how now it's gone back downhill again. And how I'm trying to pull up back uphill, and now this time working with a new system, whatever there is, with the major cutbacks in every damn bloody thing. I never do absence, and I never will. I believe in showing you from my own experience when I can talk, that is. And I will have to help to make the videos, because I'm only one-handed. And I'm losing my right hand strength. I don't feel it anymore, and I'm losing my right arm strength. So that's why I'm reluctant to ring the out of hours number today, because they will probably want to rush me to hospital for tests. I'm in that dilemma all the bloody time at the moment. I've called and tried to get home visits by doctors. They just won't do it because there's no female to help me, to come to me. I have to. I'm no better by the end of the day. I have to get that call made. And then I'll be stuck like in the NHS system on a hospital bed where everybody's struggling themselves. And unfortunately, the real good people that do care in there are those wearing those blue, not blue, what they're called, they're pink outfits, and they do the washing and dressing. So, and I think sometimes, unfortunately, their dental health everything will have to be looked at, wouldn't they? I wasn't able to get to the hospital from the hospital, dental or surgery appointment. So, going back to how my friends tried to help me get out this door, my wheelchair. Does anybody get it that you have to psych yourself up to mentally prepare to face the world, the people around you? And what happened Friday was a major trauma and triggers again. And the goodwill intention of social worker and care advocate didn't mean ill will. It's not their fault. Just they don't seem to see it as what I'm going through. Because the caseloads are so high with the social worker, they haven't got time. I see it in her with a personal problem she had that day. She had to rush off a family matter. And the care advocate changed her destination on me. It's not her fault. She's got her own disability. And I admire her because she's working. And that's what I'd like to think one day. For all these months and hardship and pain I'm going through, I might end up be able to do something eventually. But it's here and now the most difficult thing I've done in years. And still going through. Making this decision to go public on the new YouTube channel. It's not to create an attention to me. It's not to be a voice for anyone else out there. You've got your own opinions and views, I know that. They keep coming at me and at me. I don't get no peace. I keep getting targeted. I can't explain how it is. Because you just won't seem to think it happens for disabled people, perhaps, even as you go through it. It doesn't stop. It's not meant to happen, but it does. I'm in an area where they want to build another great big 4-story building. I can't cope with this in this area. And this is why I've decided to give up this flat. It's not a place I feel safe anymore either. And it doesn't meet my needs. The housing company employees only found another flat, a 2-bedroom. Similar to this, but another bedroom. Well, how am I going to afford that with a housing working age group? A reduction of what, it's housing benefit, 1 bedroom only, despite your disability needs. So that wasn't suitable in Kettering in North Hampshire, UK. It is going to be specialist, what they call it, close. I don't know how the words they're using is now housing, but it's an environment where it's going to be cameras everywhere, and it has to be proper assisted living. If there was a system where my complex needs, there was a family with a big bungalow, attachment bungalow that could take me in, and what their system is, and I can't remember what that is called, but that is an operation for learning disability people, but I don't know about my age group and my care needs. And if that meant I was part of their family, well, that's a new way of living and learning to build relationships with a family. I've never had that, you see. And that might just help me heal and grow. But in the longer term, this will be, in the pipeline. But the immediate thing is, despite you go to this medical, say, they will not do anything. They won't look at your reports. They're there to find the cut savings for the DWP. And then when you go for a mandatory appeal, there's still the DWP will not look at your medical information and the factual evidence you sent is despite everything you've done. And then you need to focus on the tribunal at the end of the day. There's still no guarantee you'll get anywhere with that. With the Ministry of Justice, the backlogs, the cutbacks they have, and everything. If you know about how they can submit things online. And this is where I need all more help. And this is why I settled my evidence off. I'm awaiting the outcome of a review of Joint Community Care Act 2014, full, in-depth, not severe, but seriously detailed. I've never, ever gone into anything like that in my life before. So it causes all the triggers on top of the mental health, you see, all that anyway. And I've had serious reduction in my mental health because of it all. And this on top. So I don't call a GP for nothing on the 16th of July 2018 to say I need help. I've always been able to manage my own conditions stably, meditation, natural health and everything. But because what happened, I ended up in hospital the way I did last year, that's what's caused everything gone downhill, you see. And my housing. The mould in the wet rooms getting in my lungs. I can barely breathe. My mates have got the windows all open. It doesn't make much difference. Doesn't matter. You get the damp proof, what they call it, special stuff you put in things to catch all the damp in the air and stuff. It still doesn't help. The negligence is by this housing company. They're relying on me. I have no strength to take them to court to sue for negligence. But spiritually, I know my mum wouldn't want me all that. She just want me to move on and find a way. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't blame anybody for their incompetence and unlawful behaviours, because there's no point. I have to learn to forgive those that transgress against me. I think the word is spiritually. This is the hardest thing I've ever, well, not ever, but a long, long time needing to do. Like the social worker kindly said, you can only say what you can say, and that's it, really. And that is the thing I have difficult with. I mean, it might say, well, I can talk on air, but it's different when you're talking to a screen and no one's in front of you and you're on your own kind of thing. Apart from my own friends who started off being friends in my life and now they've had to take over everything. I survive on bananas and yogurts and drink and grapes. That's my diet. The body's trying to fight off infection constantly. But you see, there's worse people off than me. They can't talk. They can't even move. Paralysed and let down. There's innocent babies that die and lose their lives. So when you realise the bigger scheme of things, my situation is nothing compared to that. So I come on here today to say I am at the rock bottom, I know, in a not very good place. One day I will come out of all this, I know that. But sometimes when you're going through again, through all these trees in the wood and can't find a pathway out, it takes sometimes a kindness in an innocent situation, like I've had just now. Help me switch my mind off from that dark place. To say, come along to this place. So, my other two friends in a minute's going to come to see if I can just sit up in my wheelchair and how I am. Dose me up with medications and to see if I can just get up to that location. And I know the doorbell were to ring and the wheelchair access, I know my friend will be there. And somebody else he knows that I've just got to know. Because I find, in my opinion, their true Christian heart are in them, these individuals, and I cannot be cut off in isolation. I need to find a progress somehow, and I need to start now. I'm not going to allow these blinking Capita Plc, the DWP, public servants employees to get and cause me this way. I need the energy and determination in my health to keep going along the way. Despite all the targeting, the unlawful actions, behaviours of third parties and other people behind the scenes, I know what's going on, you see. I will, one thing at a time, break it down in parts. So I know what to expect. I'm not expert, not at all. But I know now what to watch out for. And I know they will decline the PIP and the mandatory consideration, and it'll be going to appeal. I'll be like thousands of people surviving on minimal, yet I can't get to food banks, you see. And by going through this social worker, she will have to come and see me on my own with the advocate, and she will see the serious situation. And she will have to, in a job role, an adult safeguarding. And that comes, if you don't know about Section 42, the Care Act 2014, United Kingdom, it's worth to look into. We have to make an adult emergency safeguarding, and that's an emergency placement elsewhere for my safety. They have to combine it with the physical care, the housing, and the mental health, you see. And that's going to be very hard for them to do. With the external outsourced other services cuts in their services too. So this is a messed up blinking United Kingdom in blinking everywhere because of the bloody political arena that is messing up with this country, that only give a monkeys if you're business and well off and well connected. So the new channel, if I'm able to, will start documenting this from tomorrow. I pray for those going through crisis right now, the homeless, the innocent, around the world, not just United Kingdom, by the way. We're all struggling in our own little way. I know my mum's laid to rest is in her own special place. I know my own religious family mean well, and what they do, they just don't see it the way I do. I forgive them for their transgressions against me. And I'm not perfect, I made my mistakes, and I hope they can see that too. For all those out there that keep to criticise me and play back this video and judge me, you just need a blinking new life because you have no clue what we go through every bloody day. For those that keep bloody well making sure I don't get access to goods and services that I know I'm lawfully required to, is only because those that spiritually are waking up now more than ever. If you don't trust your gut feeling and sense of darkness around you and what's closing in on everything in life, generally speaking, take a moment for yourself. Switch off your devices, your Wi-Fi and everything. Be careful about how that can affect your health. I know you need it, especially I, in my position, one-handed, and especially on a bed bound, with communication, but I've got these analogue phones I'm going to resort back to. It's unfortunate I can't balance a laptop the way I used to. My mum always taught me this, if I can leave this dream now with one thing. A sense of a little bit of hope, I hope. When you're in your deep, deep darkness, and you can't see a way out, stop and take a breath of fresh air. Thank gosh, whatever your belief system, you're able to wake up the next day, you're able to breathe. Every little tiny thing you do is a blessing that you're still here, even though it doesn't feel like you want to. These are emotions, are natural in the human brain. It's natural to feel the pain. Let it out. Don't keep it in. Scream if you're able to. Cry if you need to. But be careful about your actions and behaviours so it doesn't affect anyone else in a dangerous situation or yourself. Pick up those phone lines that are there. Don't hesitate. They might not be able to resolve your situation, but they're there to listen. Sometimes you might find online services and things that might help you. And whatever you turn to, my experience, I've never done drugs like that, but some people do. They do the drinks and drugs to hide the pain in their life. I can only go from seeing things and knowing things. It doesn't help at all. It makes it worse. And then you still won't have no energy to keep carrying on with the system. You need to deal with the current matters in hand. Overstretched so-called agencies are there deliberate. Unfortunately, the system is breaking down, basically. If you've had a falling out with friends or family, if you are able to make up, I would suggest to do that as soon as you can. Because you don't know when you're going to need them. I'm not in that position. They won't come forward. They won't lend a hand. They won't reach out in kindness and support in my crisis time. So they're not real Christian in their heart. They're following a certain religion, and I don't believe it's a true Christian nature. My experience being born into it in all those years. But I respect their position, even though it's painful to see and feel all this and know this. I don't know if I can carry on using this channel and have any energy to make another video on this channel, at least. So it started off being like about the weather and then the housing, and now all this bloody personal situations to share my experiences, and others, you only know what it's like. When they cut the they stop your DLA, you don't get anything until there's a decision, if it happens in the tribunal stage. And then I'm hearing that might affect your ESA. I'm in a support group. And when that happens, when you have very high complex needs like the social worker people will see that as you need to go into an institution environment, like, as I said, whatever that might be. There's no guarantee they will do it, but they know I'm in the middle. I was already started this assessment process with them before the PIP thing came into play. So they have a duty of care. And I know the cutbacks everywhere. UDWP, public servants, you think you're doing just your job. You don't really give a monkeys. You're doing by your script in your call centres. Your Capita Plc and your call centre computerised, your digital systems you're using. You're crucifying people's lives. And all walks of life. Families, older people, my age group. You have no damn clue. You're doing the bidding because you want to get your bonuses to survive under this blinking system. You want the house, you want the car, you want all this, that and the other. But you try and live like me. And those that are homeless right now, and those children starving, and people committing an end of their lives because they can't see a way out, and ended up perhaps even more back in hospital, whatever it may be. You do not have a damn bloody clue. Don't even get me started about you so-called political certain individuals. I know that make up the corrupt bloody system is all going to be still carrying on. You see, when you sense things are crashing around you because of these, when you don't know certain subjects, and I had privy to learn certain things, that's all fair and good if you have your health and you're able to walk and you're able to not rely on the state for anything, then you can just ignore, reject certain offers because there's no contract in place. But when you're not, and you're accepting things under duress by force of cohesion, there's nothing, unfortunately, as a safety net available. I love hearing beautiful, innocent nature, and right this minute, I'm going to end now. One thing at a time, I know. I have to keep going. Excuse me. Oh, you know, sometimes if you're not spiritual yourself, do you ever trust your gut and sense things aren't right? So I suppose it can be a combination of things, despair as well. You see, it's human nature, you know. The system is built to cause this. A piece of paper, a brown envelope in the door, that triggers it off, you see, doesn't it? For some people, you know. So, gotta finish this yogurt. Keep my health up to fight another day. It's not fighting, it's trying to survive. I don't know what the solution is in the bigger picture. I know people are absolute despair. I must go. God bless. Take care. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Just breathe. Just trust your gut. Just think. Well, try not to think, actually. But trust those that you think you can trust around you. It doesn't help when you're starving and you haven't got a roof over your head. But you think of your natural born human instinct built into you. Whatever family makeup situation you come from, some people don't have families and they're lost and they feel alone. I met a lady again, I can't remember when, I think it's Friday. She lost her mum in January this year. If I hadn't met her when I did, I don't think I'll be able to focus as much. I'm not focusing as best at times, but seeing it, what she's saying, makes sense about the grieving. You don't get time to grieve with a bloody corrupt bloody system going on with the bloody Capita and DWP. My gosh, you don't. So yeah, don't know this either. It's not in the paperwork before Capita. PLC sent their blinking IT documentation that you need a medical evidence, and that costs 35 quid, maybe more, to a GP to do a factual medical report. Grounds why you need a home visit, and even then there's no guarantee they're going to read it. And how that's going to be done, how you're going to fund that out of your limited income, where they cut your DLA off. So the last payment of the DLA this week will be going on that cost for 2 letters or 3 letters my mate typed up to say, what's all these referrals and blood tests and things I need to be done urgently, since blinking there's certain dates and things they put down. They deliberately blanked it, and my mate put an email in and they haven't even responded to that. So what does that mean? How can you guarantee a GMC petitioner, general medical petitioner, in the medical practices funded by NHS England is going to bloody do that? You're lucky. You might live in a postcode lottery and might just get a report. So why should I have to give in my blinking private, extremely private, severe private medical report that I've not done yet? That's only one thing. And how certain things happened to me years ago. That should never be released from the medical practice, as I said yesterday. The fact is that it has. There isn't people, now you think you're meant to be held accountable, yeah, but there isn't a mechanism in common law even that will hold anybody accountable. Oh, it's mates and mates. They use all their business linking up to get likes and contacts, and it's about who you know, it's not what you know. So if you got a mate that works in the system with DWP or a Capita Plc, you might just get a favour done for you. Maybe, behind the scenes. But if you're like thousands of trillions of people, you might not. And I've got a text. Bless his heart. So, spiritually and consciously, we are all connected, even though it doesn't seem like it. I've got to go. Time's getting on. As I said, battery's low and I've got to get on, and one little thing at a time. God bless. So I don't know if this got recorded, so one will try on, and I don't know if this gets recorded, but all I can say is just take one breath at a time. No matter how dark situations may get, it's just when you can wake up each day, just take that as a blessing. You find sometimes, even in strangers you might not know yet, kindness in people sometimes in similar position when they don't have anything themselves. The main important thing is try not to cut yourself off when you're going through all this. It's easier to get your thoughts in a twist, perhaps. But, again, if you feel your thoughts all muddled up, because that's how the system wants your blinking soul to be like, your mind and your body and your soul to be messed up. It's so pure evil the way it's going on. I don't know if you have any kind of faith or believe in meditation or whatever works for you. Put some music on to help you cheer up or whatever. remember, like herbal tea sometimes, other than coffee, unless you need coffee to keep you awake, all their bloody paperwork. But I found just trying to peel banana, I need out one-handed. Sounds really strange, I know. But when you see in statute law and all these linking this so-called country is meant to be bloody wealthy, so why are they going after vulnerable, the elderly, disabled, and cutting all the services that's meant to be for the public? It's not a wealthy country, it's corrupt into the core many areas. I'm not in a position to go into all that. I just know a lot of stuff. I wish I didn't. So, unfortunately, I'll be sharing that private, very private medical report of the attempt on my life in 2002. And it's a way for them to create this psychological trauma again. Capita Plc, the bloody CEO, board directors, and their bloody coolies, in conjunction with the contract terms and conditions with the corporation DWP. They want to create the crisis on mental health and psychological mindset in people because that makes more profit then, doesn't it, for the system? Oh my goodness me. I wonder how many people unfortunately end up in their institutions because of all this on top. What's that going to save the public purse? No, it's going to cost more of the able-bodied people that are able to work. But even then you hear about the people struggling in their situation with the zero contract hours that's going on. I sense there's going to be an uprising soon enough in this so-called United Kingdom. I think a lot of people see it so blinking gone downhill, and a lot of people I see around, well, not see them, but know of around here, that they're just shut up and put up because they feel they can't do nothing to make a change in the system. Well, that's what they want. They want the mentality of people to give up and shut up. Will no. I just need to be going about it differently and carefully for my health's sake. You see, does people really want to be shut away in their mental institutions with their big pharmaceutical industry making profit of these side effects of medications? Or do you really want to find a spiritual way and natural health and healing in your mind, body and soul? It is hard, yes, to reach out for the status quo. It is. I've had years of all this, of first-hand knowledge. And when you know that you actually get your back stabbed by your own flesh and blood DNA type family, well, that too sometimes obviously can trigger you off on top. So it depends your own personal situation. Again, if you just have an inclination in your gut instinct on things, I might not be able to do myself much about the bigger things in the world. And I might not be able to do about the bigger things that the corruption is going on in this so-called United Kingdom, Inc. All I can do is my little tiny things. And that's what my mum raised me to know, to learn. And I'm doing this for her. It's so easy to fall back on the dark days I used to have years ago. And I need to find the courage in me. I've got it. It's just hard to find right now. So it's going to cost again to send that report, even though they won't bloody read it with the PLC, corporations, employees. And even though they still have your medical records, I mean, as I said earlier, in just unreal outsourcing everything now, isn't it? I think what they call it, some people are not expert in all this, by the way. Is it AI? Computer? I mean, do we all fit in a bloody little box? What's all this about the tick box this and tick box that? And you should have seen the questions on Friday. 40 pages. How the hell is anybody able to comprehend all that? So it's it's no wonder that this social worker couldn't provide all this time, like key advanced questions, which is in statute law as well, that disabled people are entitled to in the subject of the statute law Care Act 2014. But you see, I'm more visual. I'd rather watch videos than read all this stuff I can't really comprehend, let alone the tiny small print that's not accessible. And they all know. It's all because it's not the individual's fault in a job role. It's because their bloody system can't be bothered to make things accessible. If I was diagnosed with a learning disability, well, then I have to. But it's all about words. It's all about titles. It's all about labels in this corrupt bloody system. And it's no different around the world. I'm sure it's the same. I just presume it would be. But I only know what it's like in the United Kingdom and around here in my own personal situation. So home is where the heart is. Well, I don't care about the bricks and mortar anywhere, you know, as long as I can be safe and move on, whatever it's going to be like. But you see, I know also that the duty of care on the social worker will never ever be allowed to get away with and see me with nothing and at risk. They will have to take action. So you corporate, you blinking pesticides, whatever the words are, I can't even bloody bother to name what I'd like to say about these employees. A lot of them on their bonuses and going home at the end of the day knowing that somebody could have, gosh forbid, ended up their lives because they don't know where to turn because the system is making them that way. And let alone these public servants that bloody work in the GWP. And there's many avenues, not just with the PIP. You've got all the other universal credit coming in. Who the hell has got bloody, 3 months savings when they're unfortunate relying on the bloody state system for the unfortunate position they're in? Nobody gets asked to get ill. Nobody asks to have a history of illnesses, whatever it may be. Yes, you work on trying to do better yourself, but if you don't have the health and you get, like I said yesterday, I'll get run over, God forbid. I mean, you could walk up to your bloody job tomorrow and get hit by a bloody car. You don't know when your time's up. But I survived for a reason. I've survived every bloody trauma for a reason. And damn well, I'm going to give up now. Yes, it's going to be extremely hard, so I have to take it extremely careful so I don't have another bloody heart attack and end up in hospital again, like I did last year. Oh, what? Because they don't word it as a stroke and a heart attack. Well, these social worker people I'm dealing with, oh, well, there's not really a clear diagnosis. Well, I've got all this bloody paperwork for years coming on my bloody ears. What do they expect? So it's obviously clear that she hadn't read all my medical notes. So what was today? That was Saturday, wasn't it? So it's Friday. I went arm in arm, so to speak, with the actual evidence of fact of how I got run over, how there's 9 witnesses and the police were informed, and not one public servant turned up in 2009 of the road and got run over. But the kind 9 witnesses were there and told the ambulance crew that the car sped and jumped the curb and the back wheel ran over my bloody left foot, and that's why I ended up stuck bang on that bloody road and hit my head and my spine and my back, and that's why I deteriorated. So why the damn hell all these years that these blinking so-called NHS public servants have never got it right either in referring 1 year ago to what it's called, I think it's known as neuropsychiatry or whatever. They're meant to do all these tests. They never did a proper CT scan, in-depth brain scan. So I live with this, what she described, something to do with my brain. I lost something, the electrical signals of the brain, how it works. I'm not an expert in this, but that's why I don't get no movement in my left side of the body for years. How would you explain that to somebody who's not trained in a Capita Plc assessor? They don't give a shite. Can you do this? Can you do that? They're out there to bloody trick you. Gosh. So anyway, there are clear diagnoses in black and white, and that was evident because I gave her that information yesterday and everything I could find. So that's why it's already in the computer system. It's like everything you do on social media and the internet, everything's monitored, everything is. So when you try and focus and lose fear and trust in yourself, the anxiety doesn't go away, of course not. And the uncertainty and stuff like that don't go away. And there's always, unfortunately, going to be triggers. It's how you react to it, I think, sometimes. And this individual care advocate Friday with a social worker at the last minute, when I knew the route, because it had to be planned for me, and the cafe, I knew it was quiet. She suddenly said, "Oh, it might be better going to this pub." Well, I'm not thinking, because I'm concerned. I'm focusing on the concern about being told what to go to Coventry. I can't bloody get out and about, let alone 30 miles away, let alone on a bloody train. I don't even use public transport. Oh my goodness me, I tell you this, so you can't make it up. So yesterday's post was a reminder letter. IT producer, no signature. If you don't turn up to Coventry, which is in England and 30 odd miles away, how the hell am I meant to do that? When the only thing I do is 10 minutes up the road in this cafe. I don't socialise. I'm not trying to be pathetic or feel sorry for anyone sorry for me, but that's just it. That's my reality. The only time when I got to see my mum is when my brother called me that time and paid for that. Don't know how they found that taxi, because it's been over longer than 8 years since I've been able to go anywhere. It's not ideal to be cut off on life. It's just the way things happen in people's situations. You might have the car park, but it's not ideal on a hot day, baking hot, and there's no drop curb in the communal garden area where I live. But I learned to cope with simple little things, hearing the beautiful birds and just trying to focus on tiny things. Because when I had these photographs of my brother and my mum passed away after the funeral, I saw how behind the scenes for years and years and years, she's always been relying on him for everything. And I see why, because when you sense and you can see things through photographs in your personal situation, whatever it may be, yes, there's a lot of trauma I block out. And yes, I remember the good things too. And I think to get the balance right, sometimes it helps to heal. It's going to just take time. And then, unfortunately, you get all this double whammy on top. And there's no compassion at all in these public servants, because they just can't afford to, because they got people breathing down their bloody neck, the proper making board directors and CEOs. So it's about ordinary people pulling together, trying to learn not to pull away from each other. I know you might be strangers around the world, but humanity needs to come together. If I sense that all these years, and I can see the big picture, and if I'm going through this on this short period of time I have left on this planet of Earth, then unfortunately there's going to be thousands of people still won't see it. And they'll still play the system like a robot on a conveyor belt system. So when I was at that family's religious church, I got shunned. I knew I was going to the lion's den, so to speak. But at least I was able to, again, for that, I had to have 4 people this time in my home to help prepare and plan the transport, the journey, and help to save up for that cost. And I had to have someone in that church I didn't know who escorted me to the funeral, because everyone disappeared on me to mum's grave and left me behind. And that's my mum. So no, it wasn't a good experience, that situation. So unfortunately, for my safety, my physical health, psychological well-being, they take turns sleeping my settee. It's not ideal. One slept on the floor last night. It's not ideal texting somebody at 4 o'clock in the bloody morning. That I never, ever, ever, ever do. Well, I didn't. They had to do for me. So I think it's a shock of the IT produced letter again. It's a bit of a coincidence, put it this way. After that social worker on Friday phoned up for me and said, well, I'm one-handed and I don't get cared at such a time. And they were still, the operators and the call centre were trying to offer me 8 o'clock in the morning. With the side effects of medication, I'm dead to the world and I don't get cared at a certain bloody time. Oh, hi, Paula. Hi, nice to hear from you today. Hope you're doing better than me. I'm just talking a mind on my own today in this bloody messed up world. And send you notes. This are you having so much extra shit to deal with. Generally, hope happy times stay ahead. God bless you, my friend. I really appreciate your support all this time. I will try and put a link to the new channel when I'm in a healthier position some point. And I need to get that. Hopefully later my friend can do that for me tomorrow. And you're going through the same. Oh, bless you. Gosh, you're Cornwall or something, aren't you? Because I don't be in the universal credit area gone live yet. Because we've got that on all when I play, haven't we, eh? And what you said about having to fight those doctors that time, you wouldn't believe what's going on here, I tell you. I'll go public with this because I think sometimes when you're going through all this, right, and everything I know, well, you obviously know I've known some stuff over the years, well, short period of time, and unfortunately, yeah. So it's been decided that I get the full OT works, but that takes the waiting list for an occupational therapist in my area. They're telling me it's 14 weeks wait. Unbelievable how many serious disabled people have been called in. Never should have happened. Absolutely, absolutely, Paula B. Anyone else out there, all link up your channels and support each other online if you can, because if it isn't trying to share your personal experiences sometimes and get to know people, I know it's just online, but it does help and feel that you're not alone, because we're all going through this, aren't we, in different ways, really, but the same bloody corrupt bloody system. So, yeah, so basically, we know, Paula, that for my bloody thing yesterday, if you saw that video, it was a long one, bloody one. I've never bloody been that long before. But it was, I don't know how, I really don't know, because the amount of evidence I put in, and this report, right, this serious report, this is going to, I just can't put into words how it feels. This is like when you have, unfortunately, someone tried to kill you all those years ago and it doesn't go away, and you're on medications. It does tighten feelings. It lets me feel angry and frustrated. Yeah. It's like for me, it's like there's a lot of people in despair, and that aggravates if you've already got psychological disabilities and mental health, and apparently in my situation, from the tense of my life, and trauma affects your personality, and you get all these labels. So there again, the referral to urgent care, mental health, well, I don't know what that letter's gone, disappeared now. Even them don't bloody phone you up and do things right. Oh gosh, I wish things were just done. This is what someone is meant to do and blah, 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 but it doesn't happen that way. Yeah. That social worker, right, I can't remember when, one of them anyway, says to me, just go on the mental health. Well, what? I've got I'm not being rude when I say if anyone's got, I mean, usually it deals with people older, incontinence, right? But when you physically can't walk, you have problems with your toes, your hands, your back. You have problems using the loo, so you have equipment attached to your bed to use the loo, not to be rude on that one. And then you ought to have operation to have a home visit or very local. Why have they? Okay, do you want to know that, Paula? Right. Why haven't you not been offered this? Right. That's what I'd like to know, Paula. Capita Plc, I have no clue. And what I watched this video of when there was something on somebody's MP, Labour MP, that did that debate about hashtag recently at the 30th of August, just lately this year. And that's when I saw the Twitter. So my mate read it out to me. I know. And the plan, I'm so ill today, right? And the plan was to push on that tomorrow on the Equality Act 2010. And there is major, huge disadvantage to push on me again to imply that I can get to Coventry. It's insulting, the words. They produced this document where planned your journey from 1 minute, every minute, from your home to the train station. I don't use public transport. I don't get on a bus. I don't get on a train. I don't go nowhere. As I said, what came across to me on Friday, this will make any sense to anyone, I don't know. That, when I had the document right and I texted the social worker, I mean, I'm in a meltdown mode at the moment. And trying to hold on as anyone can appreciate. I think I might have to find a cheap TV just to block everything out sometimes. The anxiety and stress is trying to make that journey and would be too much for you. Yes. And this is what they're counting on. Paula, I think they're absolutely counting on that people have a meltdown and end up in the institution hospitals. And then where would we be? No, they're absolutely, it's a computer generated and they're heartless decision. Computer, I don't get it. Sarah, can you close that door? Right, there's an alarm going off. She's trying to get me something to. Can't eat normal food and it's hard. Right, yeah, I have to think. Right, so all that paperwork off and off 20th of December 2018, right? And it claims, right, there's a website, I don't even really know, I paid for a year for, can I log in again? Oh, it's a nightmare anyway. benefitsandworks.co.uk, I'm a member of. So, the PIP diary. Well, I have deteriorated so bad, I haven't been able to do everything like that, print everything off, because I'm going through this horrendous Care Act in-depth assessment, and I mean in-depth. Housing, everything, you name it. And that has been triggering off. And then the death of my mum. So basically, I haven't been able to focus. Anyway, eventually, can you get something? Yeah, piece of paper. Yeah, just mix the aspirin in it. My throat is killing me, excuse us. She dropped it on the floor. She's chucking spoons at me now. No, she just missed the sink. Anyway, it was let me think. Oh yeah, Friday just gone. So that was the 31st of August 2018 when I had the paperwork on me. Oh my god, it was a nightmare. How on earth, with my diagnosis is borderline personality, major depressive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, dissociation disorder. This is mental health only at the moment. There's a lot of labels. It's all related to this serious attempt on my life. And then what happened to me as a kid, can read between the lines of that one, and that's affected me as an adult. So I've had years of trying to pretend I'm okay. I've been on years under the CPA, mental health years ago. It's all changed now, and they left me for 8 years without no help. I was just went to Morsey Hospital years ago before I got worse on my health. I was in a wheelchair then, and they added things and more medication. Suggested I am not ready, something in report for therapy or something, because it's so deep rooted. The same happened I can remember vaguely, when I started getting 17 different females bloody a day. Oh, that was a nightmare trying to cope with all that. Care side, physical care, and the mental health here in my area, people at the time, and apparently it turns out those same key consultants still employed in the area. A nightmare they were, and said that again, I'm not ready for psychotherapy because I've still not been able to talk about what happened to me all those years ago, so they just defer me back onto the primary care GP side of it all, and just medications, and not been monitored on anything for that for years. So recently, as the triggers for all these questions on these things with the social worker people, now they do the care assessment, I was the one that rang up to see, well, what the heck is the system about now, and what could be offered now. So I was the one that made the call. Nobody offered it to me. And then that's when I first heard about digital. My God, I couldn't believe this. We use computers now to digitally refer people. I'm not in a computer system. I don't fit in their system like that. But that's how they do things now. Don't know what she's put in the blinking report. And I only got an IT producer's letter. No name, no phone number, just a bloody letter in this department. No clue who they are. The mind people in my area claimed it's like a different department, but no, it turns out with a crisis line, and it's just side of it all saying, no, this is what's what. And even when I spoke to the lady on the crisis line, said she said, no, you should not bloody well go to Coventry, because obviously you had access to one care data computer system they all seem to be sharing these days, and linked up to your medical data and healthcare, and saying clearly sees my medical conditions, both psychological and physical. She couldn't even believe the bloody IT computer system, how there must be a computer bloody well making a decision. I really don't know. And saying that I need to go to Coventry. So this is Friday. That co-advocate individual, she means well, she's young, she's got her own disability, but she's got a network of people behind her, and I don't have as much as she does. And then the social worker couldn't believe it either, and so she tried to make the call to the call centre of the Capita Plc, whoever she spoke to, and that sudden change of venue. Well, I don't know anyone when you go for psychological and the acrophobia is so bad, and you don't even pay your bills, you don't get food because you can't face going out, because the onset of my mum's death apparently triggered everything off again, you know. And unfortunately, that's caused me to be not normally happen. It's not happened like this for years, by the way. Been fine for years, stable, you know. And then I never normally used to be able to needed to call anybody, you know. Meditation, everything worked fine for me, you know, when I studied. But I didn't expect to have my mum to hit me the way it has, and then get ill physically from it because of the stress and everything. And then finding that my own adult family don't give a shite and the way they treated me still. Anyway, I just had to focus on me, and with that social worker, she made it clear on the phone to whoever she spoke to that advocate suddenly changed a different location to a pub, a noisy pub on Friday. And they were walking behind me, and that was bad enough, not with me. And it was a bunch of noisy people in a area near a bus station with a crossing, which was dangerous, and I couldn't get by, and it will traumatise it all again. Was that their intention? I don't know. But I really could not cope. I won't ever allow that again to happen. And I presumed, because I was so more concerned to that they were offered to make a call for me, and I was being, I can't say certain words or I'd like to see without it sounding negative, but it was like I was pushed into going to this place, in not too many words. Oh, but it always been that particular cafe in my area called the Hub, where I knew the people, I knew the location, I knew it's safe for me and my condition and my physical situation. So that's why my mate did the email and the text at 4 o'clock this morning. Never, ever, ever do that to me again, to me. And you'll always make sure it's how I am safe and what I agree to. And now on that meeting, the social worker made a call, and the pit people, whoever she spoke to, couldn't even bloody hear, but I recorded the call. You wouldn't believe what that was. Mainly, I could pick up a lot of things in the recording, but all I could pick up was a lot of the swearing and the loud noise of the people in the pub. I don't know whether it was deliberate, I don't know, but it was so. And I lost my paperwork of the referral letter to the community mental health people. I can't find it. And that is disgusting, because I don't know where it's ended up in the pub, and I can't cope going back there, let alone. So that's going to have to be a call to find out who the hell's meant to come and see me. Anyway, those question was like, why the hell? I don't know how she. It was hard to listen to her because everybody around me was so bloody noisy, and my panic attacks, psychophobia, kicked off tenfold, and I had difficulty holding on. I really did. There are two sets of things to do. I couldn't. It was like I wasn't me in that building, in that venue, and she didn't make it clear that the mental health was a major, and the death of my mum was a major impact. And what it came across this way, what I can pick up from the recording, and from what I could hear, I was sitting next to her, my wheelchair, that the social worker didn't make it clear. And she's got all my medical notes, by the way, and she knows that I am absolutely, she hasn't offered, sorry, I'm listening, you're grieving, baby steps, hour bite, sorry, I was not concentrating, and I need to remember about the battery. Please don't do it, maid, sorry. The anxiety in trying to make that journey would, yeah, thank you, Paula. I'm listening, you are grieving, baby steps, hour by hour, my dear. No, you must put yourself first. It's, sorry. It's awful. Still, it seems true. I know this would be public and transparent. I can't pronounce the word, so you have been not treated like this. It's okay, it's not your fault, Paula. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your support, Paula. I really appreciate it. And you're right. You don't get time to grieve. And it's like we're in this robot system, you know. And like there's no compassion in the social worker or the care advocate either. And that's what really gets me, you know. I know they have to be businesslike in their job, but there's no compassion for what I'm going through. And the triggers, they keep asking me questions in the Care Act, right? Questionnaires and stuff. I can't cope with that. And my mate sent 3 letters to the GP about it all. And how the triggers are setting me back. And there's no response in the letters. Not one. And that's been 4 weeks. And it had my email in it. Not one response. And then when I got set up, I don't even remember what happened to me last year, a safeguarding thing, before I got so ill, the way I am now, in my health. And they've only gone and put that same bloody doctor as my accountable GP, haven't they? And that was recently on top. And it's all like, sometimes you don't want to think into things. But it's too much a coincidence. So where I am in this position, it's like, as you know, there's not a lot of choices for many people like us, is there, nowadays? And this is what this advocate, she means well, please don't get me wrong, she helped me see this different way, right? I don't know, I can't carry on living it. They're not going to, I've got a housing email back, right, saying they still want this OT report over 1.5 years. If I knew what I knew, like, before the wet room disrepair started, right, it was like what you said a long time ago, Paula, you kindly said about the disability facility grant for aids and adaptions. I knew exactly what to do last year with all that. So I went down that avenue, and then I got back, oh no, it's not that. We need to know how your disabilities affect you, what your diagnoses are. Well, I already gave enough information about all those videos I did and evidence about all that during that time. So that email didn't help. On Thursday, just gone, end of last week, saying they still will not offer any remedy. And I've been being washed out of buckets. I know it's not the end of the world, because my mum had to make do when I was younger, you know, growing up. I had the photos and stuff. Having to have, you know, hot water and stuff, you know, when we were little. And I know it's years ago, things are different, but it's not the point, is it? They're getting full rent for this place. And I know my rights in housing law that I can sue for lack of use. And there's all these other statute laws, but I haven't got the strength. They know that. I'm so ill. And they're taking advantage in that too. So they're going to this social worker, right? And I found out Friday just gone, a social worker, all I was offered is a 2-bedroom flat over in Kettering, which is exactly the same kind of standard general needs, but I need a specialist type living environment, assisted living, I think, with care now. So the social worker said, well, these places you have to be over a certain age. Well, I'm a couple of years out. And, okay, I have to think about the longer term, you see. So this advocate was saying, like, you know, we don't want to move again. So if there was such a place that you could have, like, on-site manager with your own couple of rooms, and there's adapted wheelchair facilities for other people in my situation, and then it can help teach you how to do things one-handed, and then regain skills again, you know, for the future, looking at the long term. So I said I'll consider that, but there's all these other things between little baby steps, as you said, to get from here to there. And seriously, when I've been looking at the bigger picture for thousands of people in my position, right, there is the plan that to cut our benefits off, right? So we end up back into the old system. I don't really know the history years ago, where there used to be poor houses, I think they used to be called, in the 1800s, where they're separating the men and the kids and the women. And if you didn't have any income, that's where you'll go. But it's like going back in history, but in so-called modern times, yeah, where I'll give you one clean example. I suppose in my area, it's a built-up area, and I don't see any disabled people out and about anymore. Yeah, whether it's because they've got structured activities or they've got carers or assistants, they do different things, I don't know. But the only time I have my friends to get me up the post office and get my cash, get my gas, electric, and come back, that's about it. And that's literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes, one day a week. Perhaps that's why, I don't know. But then everyone where I live, able-bodied, are at work, crack of dawn, and come home when they do, and I'll stick out like a sore thumb. And everything else that's been going around here, I want to see the back of it. So I know I'll be I lose a secure tender, but I've got to think positively about my health and my future, whatever that might be now. And knowing the universal credit system is going to make it worse too. I think this is also why behind the scenes, because I've had this before in my old house when I was able-bodied, my 3-bed house. And they done things behind my back and with my family that I didn't know about. They must have realised there was this bedroom taxing coming in, and I had a 3-bedroom house and just me and some cats, funny enough, all the time. And I was trying to set up and run a business, and that's how I got attacked, because I can't do all that, but certain things happened the way it did. And then the mainstream media come after me. And that's when people's got short memories around here. Even though it's many, many years ago, they just don't bloody let it go. Why? Why they got to be in the bonnet to me? I ain't hurt nobody. I ain't done nothing to them bloody political lot. Just because I had a past. So what? I don't need to to say sorry to nobody. I ain't harmed nobody. And unfortunately, I don't predict all this could happen all these years on. So there we have, with the housing situation, I had to go on an emergency basis into temporary accommodation. The knee op didn't work, and that's the physical stuff started happening. So then, as soon as I moved in here, at the same year, I get one over. Bad luck or what? And then by the end of 2009, I ended up on a walking stick or a walker, and then into a wheelchair. And then the first emergency, 2010, ended up in hospital with a loss of my left side. And then the right side, and then they found that they didn't X-ray my brain, the brain, the back of the head, the neck, the spine, my right shoulder, and that's where all these undiagnosed injuries eventually got diagnosed in London, 2011. So why the hell they couldn't offer me, just medication-wise. So in the housing situation for all that, all these years I've had all these assessments before. I can't change what's happened. I could only deal with now and what future may be. And a lot of, on a positive note, my friends have helped me recycle a lot of things for free. I wish I could have sold on eBay, but didn't get time because I thought they were trying to push me into this hotel, which I never booked, that wasn't accessible for my needs, the housing side, employees. And I did find a place that would meet my needs. It was in Blackpool. It's like a respite hotel that would cater for everything I need. And I could have been there last summer for 4 or 5 weeks. They refused the funding for that, and that's why nothing's been repaired, and I've been stuck since, deteriorating to such a point. In September last year, I ended up having a massive shock. They needed to gut out all the wet room, and that's when I thought it could have been just that, a funding issue. No. And that's when suddenly, strange, I don't know, could it have been stress? I don't know. But it set off the heart attack, and it went live streaming on Facebook, my daughter-in-law. And if she hadn't seen it, I wouldn't be here, because I lost all my function, my body use. I couldn't ring for help or nothing. And that was the use of Facebook at the time. I saw that, and police broke in, got the ambulance crew and got me into hospital. And ever since then, last September, that's when things gone downhill. And my physical health. And then the news my mum might die last year into December. She's just kept on, bless her heart. And until the shock of June this year, just gone, my sister from Wales came up and she was still in hospital and suddenly found out. Sorry, I'm just rambling on. I think I need to stop in a minute. I have to leave now. Take care, please, yourself. Yeah, I'm trying to get that. Thank you. Please take care of yourself. God bless. And anybody else there, please just remember, we're all going through our own situation. And I'm not here to try to ramble on. I think I was at the end of all this stream. It's just responding to a dear kind friend called Paula. And, she only knows too well what it's like. So if we can all come together, I don't know how it can be done. We'll get there in the end. So I'm now just going to finish off having my orange and some else. And get some rest. And God bless to you too. You'll be what you're going through. And Paula, my God, blessings be with you, my friend. And thank you for your kind words, and God bless everybody else.